Good morning, everyone. This is Pam, stitching between the lines. Flosstube number 81. Today is Monday, July 13th, 2020. Um, it's kind of trying to be a sunny day, but maybe a little overcast, and it's finally cool enough to open some windows, which is fabulous. We've had a lot of a heat wave. Um, we're here in the usual spot. I should probably sit over here so everybody can look at the quilt. There's another quilt. Can I point? Yeah, right there. That's getting bound. It's on the ironing board. I'll show a picture maybe someday. That quilt and I haven't had a good relationship. So I'm sort of slowly finishing it just because it needs to be finished. I like the overall quilt. It's the whole process that didn't agree with me. Anyway, here we are Monday. We've had July 4th. July 4th is busy in my household generally because we have a birthday, actually on July 3rd. My youngest was born on July 3rd, and silly story, whatever. She was born on July 3rd, and now it's been 20-something other years, and either the town where the hospital was had their big they had July 4th, fireworks on July 4th. I don't know, she was born on a Wednesday, so I'm guessing, I don't know. Anyway, I remember thinking, oh, I'm going to be in the hospital. I'm going to be able to watch the fireworks because it's right by the lake. And so I don't know if it was the night she was born or the next night. I don't really know. You know how these things are like a blur. I remember thinking, oh, good, I'm going to get to see the fireworks. And I got, I was all settled in bed by 10 o'clock when they usually start with the light off in my room. And one firework went off and I fell asleep. That was the end of that. Anyway. Fun fact memory, I guess, of July 4th. But now we are on the lake. We've had a place on the lake for a number of years, but now we're on the lake permanently, like all the days of the year. And fireworks are very common. Fireworks are not legal in New York State. But at any rate, people have fireworks on the lake, so it's traditionally people will sit down by their beach and they light flares on the beach, so you get lots of red flares all around the lake. We live on a branch of the lake. The lake is very large, so when we say all around, really it's just as far as we can see across the lake. As far as wide as our view is. And fireworks, just everywhere you look there's fireworks, so it's a fun night. So anyway, there was no real stitching for much of that whole entire weekend. So what happened was my week's dedication to varying projects kind of, I don't want to say failed. It just, there's important things too that have to be done. Fun in the sun, I guess, was one of them. All my kids were home. Some of their significant others. It was a good time. Everybody's living a very quiet life right now and lots of work from home, that kind of thing. So they're sort of our safe circle, we feel like. Anyway, the Farms of Hawk Run Hollow was one of the projects in June I planned to work a week on, and then, I don't know, move to something else, I guess. So I'd hoped to, I ended up working 2 weeks on it because I was doing this and I wasn't quite done by the end of a week. And then so I finished it and then I moved on to this, and this is intense. And with little stitching over July 4th, it took me, I finally finished this block last Monday, a week ago. So that cut in a little bit on my July plans, but whatever. Life goes on. So anyway, I did the 2 blocks that I had hoped to do during Maynia. So that was another Maynia thing I could check off my list. Clearly it's not done, but that had been my goal, is to do 2. Now, between now and Maynia next year, I really hope to do 2 more. We'll see. I had those plans last year too. Didn't happen. I'm not sure I set my goal as 2. Oops, sorry, I jiggled you. But I thought maybe I would work on it, and I never once touched it. So, however you count it, it wasn't a success. But whatever, there it is. So what I started on Tuesday, and I had intended to spend a week on, and it really only got 5 days, and hear other floss tubers make the same kind of admission that sometimes when we show or talk about something, we don't give the full-on details because we feel like we have talked about it a lot. So, but what we fail to remember is it's not always the same audience. So anyway, one of my Maynia starts was out of this Paula Vaughan book, Quilts for All Seasons, and the one that I started was called July. And when I showed this one prior to maybe at the introduction to Maynia, somebody asked if we could do a SAL, and I was like, well, of course we can do a SAL. So the idea was born to do a SAL, and it could be any Paula Vaughan. It does not have to be July. It does not have to be just from this book. So finally, when I started working on it, I posted on Instagram, and I started the hashtag for the SAL, only because I feel like I have been thinking about it and talking about it for so long that some of the details were just a given, but they're not. Excuse me, half a second. Sorry about that. I just had to adjust something. So anyway, I started during Maynia and then worked for 5 days. Should have been 7. It even should have been 6, given the oops. July, and I made fabulous progress. Considering I went into it, if you check the hashtag, which is hashtag Paula Vaughan SAL, I will put it here. You can check it out. You can join in. Lots of people. Oh, here's another thing I didn't have any idea. I've had this book for a number of years. I bought it at Michael's, I remember. And somebody said this book is $95 wherever they located it, eBay, wherever. Which I have no idea, had no idea. I know varying Paula Vaughan patterns come up on Stash Unload. I feel a little bit like a lot of people have a Paula Vaughan in their collection, so don't pay $95. See if you can, go to some of the secondary sites and a reasonable price on a Paula Vaughan, or dig deep in your stash, because it is one of those things. I have another one too. I don't know what it is. I don't remember what it is. Another book of her patterns. I'm sure there's something in there I'll want to do. So anyway, during Maynia, I got one flag done and maybe a few stitches in another flag. Well, now this quilt is done with the exception of all the back stitching, which is monumental. And then the second quilt that's draped over the swing, I just got, this is empty, so it's not even stitched. I had a little color problem. The key uses very similar codes for colors, and so I stitched a whole bunch in the wrong color, and then when I went to the next color, because there's 3 colors in here of each of these little cream blocks, there's 3 colors, and I thought, man, wow, that doesn't flow very well, and I realized I had the wrong color, so I had to pull it all out. I had gotten out the 3rd color to just do a comparison of how they, how the colors kind of gradiated. And then, so I accidentally took that 3rd color and started it where the 2nd color goes. So it was not, things were not going well. So anyway, I thought maybe I'd have the whole swing done. Yesterday, we did outside work and whatnot in the morning and, taking care of whatever. And I was in the house and after lunch and starting to just settle down for a little bit of stitching when we got a call. We'd had a lot of storms from Hurricane Faye. Tropical Storm Faye. What was she, a hurricane or a tropical storm? On Saturday with wind and whatever, lots of stuff. And we got a call on Sunday afternoon that there was a tree down on the lines at a property of ours. Didn't affect our property electric-wise. It affected the 2 neighbors. Would affect if we didn't get it down, but the tree was ours, so we had to go deal with that yesterday afternoon. The electric company was involved, so they come right out, whoever's on call. Did the job. We have to get another tree trimmer in there and to finish it, because they don't do the pretty work, they just get the branches down. And so that's done, mostly the parts we have to do. We'll have to go down there and load up brush and wood and whatever, but that'll be easy. But anyway, when we got home last night and had supper and I sat down to work on this, I was tired. I was tired. I was done. That was it. Wasn't happening. So I still feel like I got a fair amount done, and I don't want to keep working just to get 7 days on it and kind of mess up my plan of Monday through Sunday on a project. So it's ready to go in its bag for a little while. I will try to work on it a little bit more regularly, because if we're doing a SAL and there's a hashtag on Instagram, you know, I don't want to forget it for a year. So what's coming out for the next week, starting today, is July, another July pattern named July by Prairie Schooler, one of the monthlies. I've been showing this one for a little while because I started it some time ago, last summer probably, and worked on it here and there throughout the year. So not very often, but occasionally. So this is where I left it after my day on Maynia. Pretty much I think what I stitched was the grass. Maybe there was a little bit of a star or two that needed to be finished. And this was the case last time I showed it. I'm not really sure why there's 2 needles in there. I don't know. Things happen. So that's what I will work on today after I get things done here. And I don't want to forget this. So, because before I start my real rambling, I had lots of questions last time about, these were the Crazy Annie's ornaments of the month from 2019. I don't know. See, I forget because the years run together. At any rate, I finished them all, and I finished FFO'd all of them, and I showed them in my last video, and the question was about the hooks, these decorative hooks that I have. So I did respond, and then when there were with specifics, so if you really want specifics, you can go back to the last video, which would be number 80, but the I will try to link it below. But if a word of warning, if you're one of the first people to watch the video, and I post it off my iPad, and then I go to a computer to quickly do the things you need to do, like put my thumbnail on and answer all the questions that allow comments to happen, and that kind of thing. So then I'll be able to put a link on. So I try to do that like right away. You never know. But anyway, back to the hooks. So the hooks are these. I got them from Amazon. They are, and search this way. Search Brita Products heirloom decorative hooks. The first thing I did this morning when I looked to make sure they were still there, I did heirloom decorative hooks, and I don't know how many millions of pages there were, and things that weren't Christmas tree ornament hooks. So then I went and I did it by Brita Products. They do come out of China, but Amazon says they have, they also have, these are 3-inch, they come in a box of 25. I bought them a number of years ago when I just wanted something better, a Christmas tree ornament hook for just our regular ornaments. I bought a couple boxes of them, and they lend themselves well to FFOing ornaments. There was one that came up, these are 3 inches, I said that right. There was one option that came up that was less than 1 inch, but they were really cute. So if that appeals to you more than the size of this, especially if you're doing a smaller ornament, you might want something smaller than 3 inches. But anyway, I will link it below, and we'll see. Like I said, Amazon said they were available, so that shouldn't make them take forever to get to you. So anyway, I think that's it. I'm just looking around. Oh, no, one more thing. Well, I probably have more things. Probably there's rambling. I went, okay, this is what was leading up to this. In New York, things are opening in phases, and a number of people who are allowed to like be in any one place increases as the phases go. We're still living a very quiet life, not going to a lot of places or doing a lot of anything. But you know, with the new house, there's just things. There's things that we've been waiting to do. And so on Saturday, malls, and I feel like I don't know, maybe a hypocrite. Like, I'm like, stay home, stay home, order what you need online if you can. And about the second day that malls were open, we were there. The only reason was we wanted to go to a store that sells area rugs that used to be over in a plaza, and just at Christmas time they moved over into the mall. So, and they don't have a door that lets you enter from the mall or from outside the mall. Although when we were there on Saturday, the owner told us that they were letting people in from their back door, which is actually out by the parking lot, which we didn't know, but whatever, it's fine. And so anyway, we went and shopped for some area rugs, and I really like this store. It's just an independently owned place, and they let you bring the rugs home without paying for them yet. So I have 2 rugs that we haven't paid for yet. But he said, no, this is just a test drive. You take them home. So I'm going to put some pictures in here to show you that they were cat approved. And in the one, you have to notice, well, one of the cats is on the rug. Murphy has got his head in my purse, which is on the floor. Like, did you bring us anything? Do you have any treats in here? So it's funny, like kids. Honest to God, just like little kids. So I'll put, a couple pictures here. Mostly the whole point is to see the cats, not really the rugs. Um, but while we were out, because we were close to the cross stitch store where I get my framing done, I took 2 pieces in. And it's, it's a struggle for these small stores. And this store's owned by a woman who is quite a bit older, and so she doesn't really have any kind of online presence, so there really hasn't been any, and there's not, you could call her and get what you wanted or whatever, but she's just not a real online presence. So anyway, they've been open just a few hours during the day, and whatever, she's finally starting to open up a little bit more. So I took 2 pieces in to be framed and had to snag a cute pattern. I wanted to do one of these, but I was just kind of waiting until, I guess everybody knows what a robin's egg looks like. And beyond that, as much as I know what a bird is, I just don't really know what their eggs look like. And this is the chipping sparrow, and sparrows can be I like their look. Let's just say that. They can be a little pesky. We had a lot of bluebird houses in our other house around the fence around our pool, and the bluebirds came every year, and every year the sparrows chased them out. So anyway, they're just kind of nuisancey like that, but I like the look of them. So I really want to do a biscornu, so that was the whole point of that. So what else did we do? Have we done? Not a lot, because we're not, my husband goes to work a lot of days, but what can I say? I wish the library would open. I don't have a library card for the local library, so I'm traveling back to my old library, which did finally open up. They were doing curbside pickup for a while, and then now they're finally open. I'm just feeling a little hesitant. Plus, if I have a book, it's at least a 20-minute drive. I know, right? Like, that's hardly anything, but now that I live like smack dab a stone's throw from a library, I don't want to have to figure out, do I really want to spend the next 45 minutes or an hour running to the library, a little bit of time inside the library, and then driving all the way back home. So anyway, the one here is still doing curbside pickup. I don't have a library card, so can't pick anything up. I can't pick it out in order to pick it up. But somehow there's plenty of books to read and plenty of sewing. And there's always something in the house to do. There's a fan. There's a fan on. I had the ceiling fan on, but that was in your view, so I have a fan on, so the hair's blowing in the wind. So I hope everybody's doing well and stitching a lot. I feel like I'm caught up with Flosstube. Like, I'm not way behind like I'd gotten for a while. But there's still like at least a single day's worth of people for me to watch before there's new videos that come up. So you're still keeping me company while I stitch. And I guess that's about it. So until next time, we'll see ya. Bye.